Welcome to the Systems for Dentists training video. My name is David, and in today's video I'm going to be showing you how to create and send a newsletter in SfD. The first thing we need to do is create our newsletter, which we can do via the setup page. On the setup page I can select Documents, and in there I can then create my newsletter using our word processor. Now I'm going to use an example of a newsletter I've created earlier by going to Open and then finding my newsletter. Now once I have my newsletter on screen, it's important to note that at the top of the word processor we have the ability to select whether the newsletter is GDPR compliant. Please use caution when marking a template as GDPR compliant. If this document is found to be in breach of GDPR rules, the practice could face a punishment. If it's highlighted in orange, then it is marked as compliant and would be able to go to all patients. If it isn't marked as compliant, it'll only send to those patients who have approved their GDPR correspondence. Another thing worth noting is that the name of the document will be the name the patient receives for the email. So for our In the Loop newsletter, that would be the title of the email. Now that I've saved my newsletter, I need to access the patient's report via the tooth in the top left hand corner and selecting Reports. From there I select the patient's report. By selecting New, I can then filter my patient list. I can use filters such as which dentist we want to search for, hygienist, and also status. But then it's also important to know that on the right we've got the ability to select whether a patient has a mobile or has an email. Now this is important for the type of correspondence we are sending. If we are sending an email, I want to make sure our patients have got email addresses to send to. Now another tab on here worth noting is the GDPR tab. On here we can select whether a patient has consented to letter, SMS and email, meaning if it isn't a GDPR compliant newsletter, we can process an email to them. Now in our case I'm just going to run that report for all patients, and at the top of the report I'll have the options to send out via letter, email and SMS. I can select the relevant option and then find our template. So in this case I'll select our In the Loop newsletter and select OK. This will then start to process the emails from the system.